Hello guys, and welcome to the Crypto Nutrition YouTube channel, bringing you digestible crypto nutrition. So today's video is going to be about Hedera or Hbar, and this all came about because somebody commented on one of my videos about the Akash network, saying that they recently purchased some Hbar and wanted to know my opinion on it. Shout out to you, Paul. Here's that video for you. And essentially that's what we're all about here, is creating a community. You find the videos, you find them useful, and you want to find out more about something else, or you want to comment something else. We are all helping each other here. And what we should be doing is using this technology to grow individually and as a community. So that's what we're doing here. This is for you, Paul. And honestly, I've obviously done quite a lot of research now into Hbar, and it's awesome. I'm going to break it down, make it digestible, and if it's a project you like, let me know. Let me know if you're going to invest. Maybe we can invest together and find a good time to invest. And then we're on this journey completely together. The other thing I wanted to bring up quickly is the channel. Last time I spoke about the channel, we were on 7 subscribers and we're now on 28 subscribers. I can't tell you how happy I am to see 28 people subscribe to my channel, which means you're watching the videos, you're enjoying what you see, and you're looking to connect. So that's awesome. Thank you so much, guys. Anyone new to the channel watching this, please do subscribe. Please do leave some comments. You can see through this video that I am actually interacting with people. I'm actually making a video based on the comment of someone I didn't know before. And yeah, that's what we're about. So please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, help grow the channel, help grow the space. Let's do this together. But without further ado, let's dive into Hbar. Over to you, Desktop. So first, let's have a little look at CoinGecko. I've actually got a CoinGecko video, and CoinGecko saw my video and they subscribed to the channel, which was awesome. So shout out to you, CoinGecko. You guys are awesome. I love you. Best tool. I'm not associated to them in any way, shape or form. I just love their product. So I'll promote it to the few people that will be watching this. CoinGecko is the best. Thank you, CoinGecko. Over to CoinGecko. So Hedera, Hashgraph, Hbar, currently sitting at 12 cents. And let's have a little look at the graph and just do some basic analysis on this. So when they first hit the market, they came in at 11 cents. So they're already trading above their previous all-time high. Again, like we saw over Akash, when they've moved up, they have consolidated really well. And this period of consolidation throughout 2020 shows good strength in the coin, in my opinion. We did take a little tumble back down here, but still, it's not really beyond these levels down here. So I would call that whole period there good consolidation. And since the turn of the new year, Hedera has seen some really good growth. But compared to, say, a Cardano at 933 million market cap, there's definitely still growth in Hedera Hashgraph for the long term. And I do think there's still some good performance left in it over this bull market. Rank 73, again, I think that's super underrated for this project, and we'll dive in and find out why. So Hedera Hashgraph, hello future. Hedera token service now on mainnet. The first thing to note about Hedera is that institutions are already using and contributing towards their ecosystem. So Hedera is owned and governed by the world's leading organizations. T-Mobile, IBM, Google, LG, across multiple sectors: aerospace, education, technology, communications, construction, production. Multiple enterprises, leading enterprises, are contributing to the Hedera ecosystem, which is feeding into their central goal, which is to create a trusted and empowered digital future for everyone, which is a really cool thing. And we'll go into a few more bits now. Join a future built on trust. Hedera is the trust layer of the internet, a decentralized public network for you to make your digital world exactly as it should be, yours. Whether you're a startup enterprise, a creator, or a consumer, Hedera goes beyond blockchain for developers to create the next era of fast, fair, and secure applications. So Hedera essentially call themselves the third generation. First generation being Bitcoin, second generation being Ethereum, which both consume massive amounts of energy. Process times are slow because they need to build trust into these transactions, and they're super expensive to use. Anyone that's used Uniswap, anyone that's used the Ethereum network will know that it takes a long time for transactions to go through, if they go through, and it costs a lot of money to do that. Like at the moment, gas fees are ridiculous. So for the retail user, like you and I, it's at the moment, it's diminishing returns. You know, you have to be spending thousands of pounds in order to make the, $80 gas fee digestible. So Hedera, proof of stake public network powered by Hashgraph Consensus, achieves the highest grade of security possible with blazing fast transaction speeds, incredibly low bandwidth consumption. By combining high throughput, low fees and finality in seconds, Hedera leads the way for the future of public ledgers. So Hedera have two main pillars. The first is consensus service, built directly on Hashgraph. So the Hashgraph Consensus algorithm with world-class governance council, which is, the governance council is essentially all of the large enterprises that they work with. But essentially the consensus service is a way to share information, maybe when someone's been paid or someone is paying, or essentially for all parties to see the same information on one ledger. So for example, when I bought my house, it took 6 months plus just to go through admin, through lawyers, through councils, through loads of different things, just to try and get all the information in one place. And essentially what the blockchain does, or as Hedera are going beyond the blockchain and creating their own ecosystem for ledgers, is creating all those things readily available in one place, confirmed by others, which is the consensus essentially. And it's just, you can get it like that. So that would have saved me 6 months. In short, a ledger is a table of records, which can't be tampered with. So you can see where and when products have been made, who's been transacting, and when, which is awesome, this is what the blockchain's about, guys. This is why this space is so exciting. This is why we're so early, because this stuff hasn't been mass adopted yet. So really, really cool. And essentially you can package that by saying what the consensus service does and what blockchain does is it verifies the authenticity of products in a nutshell. So they've built this consensus service built on the hash graph. They've got this sort of base layer that's being governed by some of the biggest enterprises in the world. So that's already being used, already being looked after, and exists. So it's there, it's a product, it's usable, it's being used, which again, if you look across some of the top 50, they don't even have that to offer. It's all promises, which a lot of them are looking good, but Hedera is there. They've launched their mainnet. They've got a test net for their new service, which is what the second pillar is, and that is their token service. So you can essentially create your own token on Hedera. So they have what's called an SDK, which is a software development kit. There's some really cool YouTube videos that they've made showing how this works. And essentially it means you and I and anyone can create tokens. Why would I want to create a token, you might ask? With decentralized tokenization, anybody can incentivize someone to use their product or incentivize a certain positive behavior. The reason it's positive behavior is because people aren't going to adopt it if things aren't positive, right? If it's going out to the world for the world to see, there are no hiding places. You aren't going to want to incentivize negative behavior. People aren't going to use your token. People aren't going to be incentivized by that. And companies won't want you to do that because it's bad for business, etc., etc., etc. So for example, let's say an Apple producer wants to adopt tokenization. So what they can do is, with the farm that they work in, let's say in Spain, they can incentivize the farmers per kilo, per whatever it might be of apples. And they can say, right, here's your APL token. You will get 10 APL tokens if you produce organic apples and you produce them in this period of time, or whatever it might be, to incentivize that behavior. Then that individual can earn those tokens and then can redeem them against anything else across any ecosystem that token is interoperable with. And as we move forward in the space, things are becoming more and more interoperable. So you could be able to earn tokens which have value against something else, and then you know where it goes from there. It just goes down and down and down. So you're actually creating added value for that behavior or that action or that use case. What else could that do? So potentially, if you have a store of asset, which is the token, there may be a world whereby you can actually use that as leverage to pull out a loan. So this apple producer, this apple farmer, may then be able to use their APL tokens, that's just a made up token by the way, to actually take out a loan and create another farm and another farm and another farm and etc, etc, etc. And that's all viewable on the blockchain. You can see what everyone's doing, which then if you come to say England, where I am, and I'm like, oh, well, I want to buy my apples from a company that is producing organic apples and is looking after their farmers, etc., etc. And I find this apple provider and I can see how they're working. I can see how their apple has been produced and essentially who's producing it, and that he's benefiting from their whole adoption of tokenization. Everybody wins. Everybody wins in that whole supply chain. So really, really cool. I mean, we can take it back to something that, might be more applicable to you or I, which is, let's say, a YouTuber or an athlete could tokenize on Hedera and offer tokens to their fans or their followers or their subscribers, which they'd be able to unlock but through loyalty, whatever it might be. They can offer tokens out to these people, and then they can use those tokens to redeem against more content or higher levels or whatever that might be. So Hedera have launched this all on their own ecosystem. They're completely self-sustained. They're the third generation of blockchain, and through their token service and through their consensus service, they have a layer of trust, built-in trust. And then through their token service, they are essentially allowing individuals, businesses to build upon their trust network and essentially enabling people to do what they call carving out their own cyberspace. So what is the Hashgraph Consensus? Let's listen to Lehman talk us through exactly what this is.
How does Hashgraph Consensus work? We want to put the transactions in order. How do we do that? We'll sort them by the order of the events. But what's the order of the events? You just sort them by the consensus timestamp for each of these events. But what's the consensus timestamp on an event? It'll be the median of the received time. It'll be the middle of all those times of when it reached everybody in the world. What's the received time? Well, it's when an active computer, an active node received it. The computers that around that time were each sending events to many of the other nodes. But what do we mean at that time, sent events too many? Well, we mean during that round. We all have this history in the hash graph. We break up history into a bunch of rounds, and we just look at it and say, okay, during that round, did this node actually send out some events? If they did, they have a famous witness. And did it reach many people at once? If they did, we call that witness famous. And we will weight all of this virtual voting by the stake that they are holding, how many Hbars they own. So it is gossip about gossip with virtual voting, and that is the Hashgraph Consensus algorithm.
So essentially what they've done is they've looked at the blockchain, they've looked at how contracts work, how transactions work on the Ethereum network through Bitcoin, and they have simplified it. They're not just looking at each individual transaction, they're looking at transactions as a whole. So that's why they call it gossip about gossip, because they're not just talking about the gossip, they're talking about how we're gossiping. And by gossip, all they mean is transactions and communication between multiple parties. So really what they've done here is revolutionary. If we go back to this, 10,000 transactions per second to Bitcoin's 3 and Ethereum's 12. Average fee, a fraction of $1 compared to Ethereum and Bitcoin. And transaction confirmation, 3 to 5 seconds to minutes for Bitcoin, up to an hour, and 10 to 20 seconds through Ethereum. And this all works right now. Completely crazy, guys. So why don't we deep dive a little bit into this governing council? Who are they? What does that actually mean? What do they do? Why is it relevant? And I'll let them explain.
Comprised of the world's most innovative companies across different industries and geographies, the Hedera Governing Council will chart the path for the Hedera platform and public network. Their responsibilities include hosting and maintaining initial network nodes, establishing a governance framework for global markets, and overseeing the software run by hundreds of thousands of nodes at scale, and for the overall direction of the Hedera platform's codebase.
We decided to join Hedera Hashgraph, but not only join, but being a counselor. on the Hedera Hashgraph network because it's important for us to influence the future roadmap.
The Governing Council will play a crucial role for this emerging sector, creating the best practices and guidelines that will serve the industry for decades to come.
But we're all going to be able to get together and share that sort of global best practice knowledge on a series of interesting and challenging questions about the future of this technology and how we can help frame a governance around it.
Hedera Hashgraph goes beyond blockchain with a fast, fair and secure distributed public ledger governed by the world's leading enterprises and made for developers, creating a trusted and empowered digital future for all.
How amazing is that? Where else have you seen any companies working with some of these names? They already have the infrastructure in place to be a world leader at tokenization and empowering individuals and businesses, small and large, to stake their place in the emerging technological world and really make a difference. This will really separate the companies that are really doing the right thing versus the companies that aren't, because everything is going to be transparent. This is why they're calling it the trustless economy. Not that there isn't going to be any trust, but because the trust is going to be there in black and white, in zeros and ones. It's going to be there for you to see. You're going to know how these businesses are operating because it's all going to be on public ledgers and on public ecosystems like Hedera. And Hedera, again, I'm not invested in this. I haven't looked into this until the last couple of days to really get to grips with it. And I'm really thinking about putting some money down. Even like sitting here talking about it again, regurgitating it through to you guys, I'm like, why is none of my money in this thing? Like, it's awesome. I kind of want to make some tokens. Let's make some crypto nutrition tokens. No, let's not. Let's dig a little bit deeper into their Twitter. So they already have 54.5k followers. So they're doing well on the social front. You can see here, Hedera is a decentralized public network on which developers can build secure, fair applications with near real-time finality. Awesome. They're super active, posted 3 hours ago, 15 hours ago, 16 hours ago, 20 hours ago. You know, they're announcing new partnerships. It also looks like they're entering the NFT space. Again, Lehman Baird, have a look at some of his videos, have a look at the Hedera Hashgraph YouTube channel. They've got so much information there and they'll probably describe it way better than I am. Here's another partnership with Hbar, Hbar buying guide. You can see here, weekly roundup from Bitcoin Africa. Standard Bank Group becomes first Hedera node operator in Africa. So they're a global network. Another partnership here with OKX. Another partnership here with Standard Bank Group. Here they are again, engaging in public discussions. You know, when you see these kind of things on their social channels, and this is why social channels are really important, because they're able to communicate and show in a real-time feed what kind of things they're doing, who they're partnering with. You know, it takes some time, or can take some time, to update your whole website to show who you've been partnering with, but you can just dive straight into their Instagram page and be like, right, what have they been doing over the last 2 days? You can literally, in 5 minutes, I've literally done this in 30 seconds and seen they've got 3 partnerships. They're engaging in discussions across the board. They've got a good following. And it's these kind of things that you want to see in order to make an investment in a company, to know that your money is safe for the long term and you're investing in a company that is interacting with people. So really, really good to see in terms of the social front. Again, check out their YouTube channel. They're awesome. The last thing I wanted to do, and I didn't do this for Akash, partly because it's not on TradingView, but let's try doing this now. If you like this kind of setup, let me know. But let's go into a bit of technical analysis for Hbar. Back towards the end of January, they saw a kind of parabolic growth up here past their previous all-time high. And it didn't take them long to push through the next Fibonacci level up to the 1.414. And then again through the ceiling of the 1.618, which then obviously during the dips have come back down and are now trading between these two fib levels. It's looking like there's some good buying power here, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them, once they break this 1.618, is to then go up and challenge all-time highs here of 16 cents. So at the moment they're on 12 cents. What I would be looking for if I was looking for an investment is potentially to see them come up past this fib level and then retrace back down and find some good support. So let's have a look at what that support line might look like. Looks like we've got good significance with a line kind of like this is how I'd probably draw it. You can see here, they had great support along this line here as they experienced their growth. They came back down and touched this support line here, and unfortunately, obviously dropped below the support line here. So what we might see is this continue to rise as the market recovers, use this support line as resistance, and then come back down and potentially test this line here, which is the 1.618. I wouldn't rush into a buy just now. I wouldn't rush into a buy generally anyway. You know, even if this does pop up, it will pop back down, and we'll see where we pop back down to and where we might have a decent buying opportunity. We'll obviously also keep track of Bitcoin and Ethereum. If Bitcoin continues to rise, altcoins will continue to have a consolidation period. I don't see that happening. Actually, if you look at one of my previous videos, I'll talk about how Bitcoin is likely to continue to fall for a little bit longer. We might have seen the end of that, but anyway, back to Hbar. This is looking good for the long term. And what I always say is if you're in this coin for the long term, there's never a bad buying opportunity. So if we look at a more granular timescale, we'll look to the 4 hours to see if there's any sort of localized entry points. There's not much significance to this line, but this is the kind of downward sloping resistance line that was being formed given the dumps. We got good support around this level here, multiple touches of this line at the 10 cents, which is really, really bullish for me. It acted as previous resistance here and is now acting as support. So again, that might be a good entry price. If we've seen 2-3 touches of this resistance line down here, we could see this come down and either touch our resistance line here and use it as support, or fall back down below and then come down to the 10 cents mark. So we'll just keep an eye on it. We'll just have a look. We can do that together. Follow me on Twitter. I don't actually have any followers on there at the moment, so I'm not that active. I'm kind of waiting to see if people will start using it. If they do, great. If they don't, is what it is. But interact with me on Twitter, interact with me on YouTube, leave something in the comment section. What would be your ideal buying price for this coin based on these charts? And do you agree with me? You might have your opinion on this, but in my opinion, I want to see a little bit more. There's not really much that this chart is giving me, apart from the fact that we've got some good support down here, which might spell a good buying opportunity. So guys, that was my take on the Hedera network. I've looked at some fundamentals, including their consensus service and their tokenization service, both really big pillars of their ecosystem, which are backed up by huge enterprises, world-leading enterprises. It's a product that works and is in operation as we speak. And now it looks like they've created themselves a clear road to just keep plugging in partnerships and keep improving as this thing is live, this thing works. On top of that, they have a really engaged team. They have a really clean and clear ethos. They have company values, which you can find on their website, which I love to see, is what companies care about. You can tell this, you have a feel for it. Their team is awesome. You can have a look at Lehman Baird and all of the stuff that he and the team do on YouTube. They have an awesome YouTube channel, so I recommend you check that out to find out a little bit more. They're really engaged on Twitter. You can see they have a live feed of what they're up to, what they're doing, which brings a lot of positivity onto a company and is the kind of thing that you want to see. On top of that, we've had a look at the technical analysis. We've had a look at the chart, and overall, it looks like a really positive chart. I think there are some good buying opportunities that could be around the corner. Obviously, depends on what happens with the rest of the market. None of this is financial advice. Trade at your own risk, do your own research. However, I'm going to keep watching that graph and see if I can find a very good entry price, maybe around the 10 cents mark. Maybe we've seen the end of the dip, so we won't go back down to that point. However, if we don't, let's see if we break through that resistance line of the Fibonacci level and find support, and then that might be a good buying point and a platform for that coin to then spring off and go parabolic, which I really think it does. I really think it's undervalued. I really love the fundamentals personally. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed it, guys. This is my second video on a coin, as requested by one of my subscribers, Paul. Big up, Paul, you're the man. Hopefully this helps you, Paul, in this If you agree with some of the things I'm saying, let me know in the comment section. Please share this with people. If you want people to see what Hbar is, what Hedera is. Hopefully this provides a quick insight into that and can save you a lot of time in terms of doing that research, and we can then discuss this. And again, crypto nutrition is a community. This is what it's all about. You can leave a comment and I'll be able to look at whatever you're saying and create something from that that's of utility, not just to you and I, but to everyone else. So this is what we're all about. This is community. So if you like what you see, guys, please hit that like button, please hit that subscribe button, please interact with me, and together let's build a nutritious crypto community. Thanks again, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.